Health is so much more than just physical aspects. It's spiritual, social, and mental. Stay tuned to meet a couple who can help you pull it all together. My name is Yvonne Shelton, and you're watching Urban Report. Hello and welcome to Urban Report. My guests today are Narlin and Samantha Edwards. Narlin is the director of Red River Outpost, and his wife Samantha is the founder and CEO of New Breed Meats. Welcome to Urban Report.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for having us.
Oh yes, I'm so glad to have you back.
Yes.
You were here some years ago.
I was.
And we talked, and just from our talk a few minutes ago, I think you guys are setting Lexington on fire. so I want to hear all about what's going on. What have you been doing since you were here last? Which I can see some of what you've been doing. I was saying, I hope you brought some samples.
Yes.
So let's start with New Breed.
Yes.
Tell us about this company and how you got it started and what it's all about.
Yes, well, the last time we were here on the show, we talked about the fact that I had wrote a cookbook called The Better Way Cookbook, and we still actually have the cookbook available on Red River Outpost's website. And since that time, you know, my husband and I have been traveling. We have been conducting health seminars, nutrition seminars, just wellness programs all together. And, you know, we really saw the impact that it had on communities. And we said to ourselves, how can we make this even better? How could we expand our influence even further? And several years ago, when I noticed that there has been more of an interest in a plant-based lifestyle, I realized that you know, we didn't have any products in the marketplace that was really competing with some of the other major brands. And, you know, the thought came to me to start developing such a product line, but I never would have thought that it would have led to what it is now. So,
wow, it's
New Breed
exciting.
Meats. Yes.
Tell us about each of these products.
So New Breed Meats, we are a plant-based food company, and we currently have 4 SKUs available. We have juicy burgers, we have sizzling sausages, gourmet grounds, so really a protein choice for every part of the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And our new exciting line that we are debuting is the chicken line, and really fun, innovative flavors that are not currently in the market, such as Jamaican jerk, curry, smoky barbecue, and also plain, so the consumer can actually add whatever flavors they want. The great thing about all of our products are that it's soy-free, it's gluten-free, and there are no GMOs in any of our products, and it's much lower in fat than some of the other products out there. So it's definitely a healthier alternative.
So what's your protein base for it?
So our protein base is a pea, brown rice, and algae protein. So it's a really nice proprietary blend that really helps to with the digestive. A lot of people have issues with digesting some of the alternatives, but with our products we have a complete protein profile, so it really helps to digest well.
Yeah, so it sounds like with the algae too that it's going to be good for the gut.
Yes, yes,
right?
it definitely is. That's
help
right.
The microbiome in the gut.
And that's exactly right. You know, we were very mindful with what we were putting in the product and making sure that it had everything that you need so it can be a complete source of nutrition.
That is so exciting.
Yes.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
And for us as
Yes.
consumers,
Yes.
because we do need products that are good for the gut, that help to promote health.
Exactly.
And not, you know, with cheap products, with cheap fillers and
That's
things
right,
like that.
right,
So
right. Yeah,
this is good.
yeah, exactly. We really wanted to put something out there that we felt comfortable eating because we've been living a plant-based lifestyle for going on 25 years. So for us, you know, it has been a way of life, and we realize that a lot of people really need that help with making that transition. So I feel like that's, and the main struggle that most people have is really on, okay, I hear you talking about meat, and so how am I going to give up meat? Where am I going to get my protein from? So we really wanted to create this line to really hit that question head on, that you can still have a delicious protein option while cutting back on your meat consumption and doing it in a much healthier way.
That's so great. Before we move on, tell us how you guys came to have this passion for natural health, because you both have a passion for it, and it comes through. Yeah. We haven't had a chance to talk to you yet, Narlin, but today, but it comes through. Why are you so passionate about it? Did something happen in your lives that triggered this passion? Like, why are you so passionate about this?
Well, I could start. You know, for me, when I got introduced to Adventism, of course, that's one of the things that we're known for. Both U.S. News and World Report, which is on the National Geographics, and also Blue Zones with Dan Buettner, came to the conclusions that Seventh-day Adventists are the longest-lived culture in the United States and second longest-lived in the world. So when I was introduced to the message, I noticed that everyone were eating a little bit different than I was used to. And me coming from Jamaica and then in the cities of New York, you know, we weren't definitely not eating a plant-based diet growing up. So the funny thing is when I saw it, Yvonne, the first thing I said is I'll never ever stop eating meat. I understand the beast and the statue and the stone and everything else, but that meat thing, that's just not for me.
Like, stay away from that. Don't touch that.
Yeah, don't touch my meat. I'll try the Sabbath thing and everything else, but the meat thing, but the thing is, God miraculously worked on me, and 2 weeks after saying that, and by the way, I wasn't even baptized in the church yet, you know, God just spoke to me very distinctly, and I was eating some of my mother's good stewed chicken, and then it just began to taste different to me as God was speaking to me, and since then, at the tender age of 17, I became plant-based, and it's one of the best decisions that I made. I remember my physician at the time, he's an Indian guy, he says, you know, this is a custom in India. And he says in America, we only recommend it when a person is later on in the stages of life and they're already dying. But he said it's such a great thing that you're doing it at such an early age. And since then, you know, seeing aunts and uncles and grandparents die of various lifestyle diseases that, you know, scientists are proving now that it's either reversible or preventable, realizing more and more that people are dying from their dinner tables. And if we could impact their lives in any way by giving them health education and lifestyle education and, you know, add more years to their life and life to their years, then why not take that opportunity to go and share and spread this message of health and love to as many as possible.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, because that's really where it's at. People are dying at the dinner table. That's right. That's a good title for something. Dying at the dinner table.
The top 10 causes of death in America is lifestyle diseases, the majority of them.
Yes.
So it's something that we could definitely educate people away from.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't make the connection between what they eat and their health outcomes.
That's right.
So, you know, oh, I have diabetes. Oh, well, I better take these blood sugar pills or injections or whatever, and not deal with what am I eating that's causing this.
Right. Or sometimes, you know, there's myths. Oh, it just runs in the family.
Right.
You know, well, you know, my mother had it, my grandmother had it.
Yes.
Therefore, I'm going to have it.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that we have been teaching is that it's not necessarily that a disease runs in their family. Sure, most people probably in the family does have a certain condition, but we realize it's that lifestyle and that diet that runs in that family.
Exactly.
Oxtail and a curry goat.
That's right. That's what the fried
That's
chicken.
what runs in the family.
It's the fried. That's what runs in the family. So and therefore, you ultimately would get the same condition.
You know, and going back to what you said, there's a statement that I found to be very profound. It says, "We're fed by the food industry that pays no attention to health, and are treated by the health industry which pays no attention to food."
Wow, that is
so we're in this vicious cycle of poor diet, physicians, medications, poor diet, physicians, medication, and we're just caught in this cycle, and no one is educating us out of it. And you know, we just want to be that alarming voice that tells people there's a different way, there's a better way. It could taste good and still be healthy for you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. What about you? How did you develop your passion for it?
Yeah, so you know, again, having grown up in the inner cities of Brooklyn, from a Caribbean household, we knew nothing about any health-related anything. And so when I saw the same thing, my family members, my own mother actually ended up developing stage 4 breast cancer. My father had heart disease. You know, everyone else was obese or on their way. And, you know, I said, you know, there has to be a better way. And when I realized that It largely had to do with lifestyle and what you're eating and just your whole outlook on life. I started making the change as well, and I was just about 16 years old too when I said I'm going to make a change, and that's what I did. And it was such a blessing because I was actually able to share what I was learning with my family members. So now my mother is, I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, over 20 plus years ago, cancer-free, healthy. She made that transition. She embraced all the things that that we were sharing with her, as well as many of our family members. So we saw the impact that it had when people actually embrace and followed and actually do the things that we were sharing, what it can do on yourself, your family, your communities. And I wanted to also make a point. I remember doing some research and I found out that Harvard actually came out, their Department of Nutrition and Epidemiology, they found out that 1/3 of the population died prematurely due to a largely animal-based diet. And I said, I wonder how many people actually really know that literally 1/3 of the population. And I wish that some of this information was more widely available to individuals so that they can make a better choice and make better decisions.
Yes,
ultimately.
yes. So many times people, like they'll say, oh, I can't give up the meat. And
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't like the taste of other things.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I'm sure, because I had a chance to taste some of your
Yes.
food before, and it was delicious. So that people are not sacrificing taste for health,
That's right.
right? I mean,
That's
because, you know, most people are like, okay, I want to be healthy, but I'm not going to eat nasty food.
That's right. No, that's right.
But
That's right.
if it's good and it's prepared in a way that is, you know, savory and all that, people will gravitate toward it.
That's right. Yeah,
right.
and that was one of the main things for New Breed. I mean, we remember what it was like to eat meat. We know the taste, and so we were very careful to make sure that flavor was there, because that's the only thing that's really going to have any lasting effect. I mean, people will do it for a while, you know, something subpar, but it won't be anything lasting.
Yes.
So we knew that we had to create a line that people were actually really interested in eating continuously. And so these products are absolutely amazing. It's so delicious, but you don't feel like you're sacrificing, because the flavor, the taste, everything is there except all the bad stuff.
Yes, and you've had a chance to go on various networks and talk about this. Tell us some of the networks that you've been on.
Yes, we have been so blessed to be featured on Fox News, NBC, the Peacock Channel, and several different platforms. And, you know, we feel like we would have never had these opportunities had it not been for what God placed upon our heart to do for New Breed. And we're just using this really as an outlet to share the message of health and wellness, and ultimately our spiritual growth. And so we were able to be featured on those shows. And, you know, we have so many emails coming in continually. My mother has diabetes, or I heard you have a lifestyle center in Kentucky. How do I get there? So these are the types of things that really moves us to continue doing what we're doing because of the impact that it has.
Yeah, the security guard at Fox, when we were in Fox in Atlanta, the security guard, you know, we just started dialoguing with him, and then he kind of found out what we were there for. And I shared it with him, just a few small principles. And I gave my phone number right there, walked outside to the car, and then he called me. He said, I want to make sure you gave me the right number, because I need your help. And I know other people that need your help as well. So people are dying of lack of knowing how to live. And, you know, that's kind of one of our objectives, to teach people how to live.
That's right.
That is so beautiful. And you guys are doing it in Lexington, Kentucky. Tell us what you're doing there.
Go ahead.
So the Lord just miraculously opened and paved the way for us to have a ministry outpost in Kentucky called Red River Outpost, which my husband is the director of. So I'll let him share most of what's happening there.
And by outpost, what that is, you know, we live in a country, a more serene environment surrounded by the hills and valleys and the green trees and the flowing rivers and creeks. You know, we're raising our own provisions. We have our own garden. So we have that environment out in the country, and then we go into the city, and we want to bring that experience, that serenity, that connection with God. We want to take that now and bring it to the cities and share with them that there's a better way, there's a different way, there's a more peaceful way. And the outpost, you know, it has a few outlets that we try to use as a means of helping people, and the main one being our lifestyle center. And our lifestyle center is the epitome of everything that we've been sharing. It pulls everything together. And that consists of them coming out from their, hustle and bustle life to this serene environment. And while they're there, they're there for 14 days with us, and they're hearing about God, and they're seeing God's creation. They're seeing the creek behind them. They're hearing it. They're seeing the green trees. They're, hearing the birds in the morning. We're taking them on walks. And they got on the garden and to plant flowers and pick their own vegetation, so we're taking them out of that environment. We're taking away the phones and the distractions for social media and the news that, sometimes bogs our minds down, and help them to focus on mental healing, physical healing, emotional healing. They're seeing counselors. They're having worships in the morning. They're getting their body detoxed through cleansing programs and hydrotherapy. They're getting massages, and it's just this serene environment that's conducive for healing. And the results in these environments is that they leave with the diabetes that they're struggling with. That these conditions are reversible, and most people don't share that. They're leaving with hypertension, these conditions that are reversible that are not being shared. Through these programs, they can leave and come off the medication and get that health, hope, and healing that God desires for them to have.
Amen.
So that's the outpost. And then in the midst of it, we have a restaurant in town that many people have heard about, plant-based eatery, and they don't know what it tastes like. So we wanted to create a practical environment that they could see that you can eat and enjoy healthy food that also tastes well, that doesn't give you the high fat and high cholesterol that causes the majority of the diseases that America and ultimately the world is suffering with.
I don't know how you guys have the time to do all this. I'm listening to you, and you got the this alone is like a full-time deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Then the outpost, that alone is major.
Yes.
And then a restaurant on top of it, and you're planning churches, and I mean, my word, what amazing things you're doing. The Lord is using you to do amazing things, to make a difference in the world. What a blessing. What a blessing that is.
And great team, by the way. That's the only way it could get done. We have an excellent team.
Yes.
Well, now, how many are on your staff? How many people are on your staff?
I think it's about 15. I have to, we just added a few people, so it's roughly about 15 people now. Some volunteers, of course, but we have a great team. We have a team for the restaurant. We're actually looking for a farmer now, so if anyone out there is a farmer, you can contact us.
Hey, put it out there. Put it out there.
And then we have a team for the lifestyle program. Then we have a team that does the cooking. Then we have a team that does construction.
Media.
We have a team that does media. So it's still a small organization. It's still family-like, home-like. But yet we still have a great team that supports all the endeavors. Of course, we have to take care of the lawn. We're mowing, 5, 10 acres, whatever it might be. So it's a lot of things that needs to be done, and praise God, we have an excellent, highly dedicated team that helps us to accomplish all the goals there.
Amen. So what are you looking to really do? What are your goals for each of these endeavors?
The main thing that we love to say, that the goal is the soul. The goal is the soul.
Love it.
So all of the different endeavors, whether it be our food factory, whether it be our restaurant, whether it be our farm, or whatever, our lifestyle center, all of these different, we feel like they're all different doors that really leads to the same thing, and that is, how can we practically show forth the love of Christ and what He has done to win us all for the kingdom. And so we're just trying to use different methods possible, so that we can reach the people where they are, so we can ultimately lead them to Christ.
It's beautiful. That's what Jesus did, right? Met people where they were, and
That's right. Just lead them along.
And for the outpost, we follow Christ's method of evangelism, which He ministered the needs of people, won their confidence, and then He bade them follow me. So when you study the life of Christ, he didn't go all over the place. He simply went in a circle. You see Galilean tour 1, Galilean tour 2, Galilean tour 3, and He kept meeting the needs of the people as He went in the circle. And there's some that rejected Him the first time round. The second time round, they heard about His healing ministry, and they came and got the help they needed. They might have rejected Him the second time. The third time He came around, many flocked to Him because they heard, last time He was here, I received healing mentally, physically. So what we're doing is trying to concert our energies into this small space And our ultimate goal is to duplicate what we're doing in many places, not necessarily us, but train others through our training school to be able to carry out the plan. We want to model it, and we want to inspire others to do it, and then we want to equip them to do it, and so that wherever they are, whether in Africa or Asia or different parts of the United States, we would have equipped them and share with them a practical example of what we're doing through these various outlets, and that they learn to work their local community. You know, as an evangelist, I've traveled so much and seen souls give themselves to the Lord and see these diseases reversed. And then when I'm gone, a year later, they've kind of went back to their old ways. So I realized more and more I need to conserve energies into one small space that I'm actually there. I could knock back on the doors. I could pull them back out of their depression, by God's grace, pull them back out of their poor eating habits or the smoking habits or the alcoholic habits that they fall back into, and just kind of, you know, love them back into it. And it's kind of hard to do that at a distance. So we're trying to create a workable model that everyone take concerted effort to stay in their small space and work it thoroughly. And then instead of me going all over the place, not to say that I won't go to train others to be able to do the same thing in their space. And we'll have so much more of these sprung up all around the world.
That is so great, because what you're saying is you are actually helping to disciple
That's right. That's
people
That's
and
right.
get them to duplicate your model
That's right.
in these different areas, which is great, because you can only be in one place at
That's
a time.
right.
That's exactly
Exactly.
I mean,
That's
that's
exactly
just,
right.
you know,
That's the reality.
It's the reality. So
Yes.
you can't, you have to train others. And it's actually, to me, that seems so effective because they're in their environment with their sphere of
That's right.
influence.
That's right.
And so they can bring their family members and friends and all
right.
that into that and teach them about how to eat and about the Lord. And
That's right.
I mean, that's just such a beautiful thing.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I know.
It's really beautiful. Tell us about this cookbook.
Yeah, so the cookbook, the Better Way cookbook, is just such a, you know, I started working on this project, I don't know, maybe it was like 15 years ago. I was doing some meetings and somebody asked me for a recipe for a lasagna that I had made. And so I said, well, I really don't have a recipe. And so I didn't think anything of it. And they said, well, no, you have to do something because this was the best thing I've ever had in my life. I said, well, okay, I'll try to I remember what I did. So I wrote something down and I gave it to them. Or I think I just wrote it down. And that person found me again a year later and they said, oh, this was the best thing. She kept going on and on. She was like, you need to do a cookbook. And I said, oh, well, I never really thought about it. And then I was doing some meetings and it was suggested again that I need to write a cookbook. So here's this was the cookbook.
Not to interrupt, but what
Yeah.
happened was actually you didn't have the recipe for her, and
that's
she
what it was.
literally
And
hunted us down.
She did. That's right.
She
That's what
found out-
happened. That's what it was.
Yeah, from
She found out
church
where
to
I
church
was.
in the Atlanta area, she
found
literally
out where I
come to
was.
churches where we were preaching, and she was on my wife's case. I need that recipe.
Yeah, that's what happened.
It was a lasagna.
Yeah, it was that lasagna. So this was largely those efforts. That's actually really funny. So this is our little cookbook. It has 60 recipes.
60?
Breakfast, 60.
Wow.
So it has recipes that covers breakfast foods, of course, desserts, dinners, sauces, and everything else in between. And what's really great about the cookbook is in the beginning, we have a pantry list. So we found that a lot of people, they want to be able to make the recipes in their cookbook. And, you know, they go to make a recipe and they're like, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that.
Yes.
So we took the time to write out a whole list of all of the
Pantry
different
list.
things that you need in your pantry from all the different categories, what legumes you need, what whole grains you need, and what nuts and seeds. So everything is already planned out for you. We also have available for those interested a 7-day meal plan that goes with the book as well, that really can help you to find out, okay, what pairs well with what. So we
Right.
already did that homework.
Is it
for
in
you.
there, the meal plan?
It's not in
We
there.
email it- we email it out.
email it
Okay,
separately.
okay.
Yes.
And how can people get the cookbook and the products? And
Yes.
tell us that. Give us
Sure. So the
website, too.
cookbook is available at redriveroutpost.org. In fact, and other material as well is available there.
Our focus is holistic health. So when you go there, you find materials, books. We have flash drives with messages, and they're all designed to address the whole man, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. The cookbook is one of the health components. We have others as well, but we have books and other materials on mental health and just holistic spiritual well-being
Yes.
on the Red River site.
That's right. And as far as our new product, You can visit our website at eatnewbreed.com. Eatnewbreed.com. We have those available, and you can also follow us on social media at Eat New Breed as well. You can learn more about when we introduce new products, when and where they will be available, and just overall get some more information about what we're doing as a business and what we're doing to impact communities.
Wow. So you do. So you have social media going. I mean, I'm just amazed because you guys, you might need to do like a time management class for some of us who are, no, seriously, this is wonderful what you're doing. It's wonderful because you're reaching people at all different aspects, physically, spiritually, emotionally too, because how you eat affects your emotions as well.
Right.
That's right.
And being in that environment at the outpost, that's got to be so healing emotionally as well.
We're blessed.
So our children love it. We have 2 small children, and they just love that whole environment and just being able to garden and just go out to the creek. And it's just a wonderful experience.
So leave our viewers and listeners with one final thought. If you could just summarize everything in a thought, both of you, a quick thought. Look into that camera, your camera, and give them a thought.
You can go first.
Well, I know that sometimes it's hard to make changes. It's hard to really make that decision, but we have found that the change starts here. If you will to be well, the Lord will help you to go all the way. Will to be well. Make the decision.
Love it. Wilt thou be made whole?
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, yes, I love it. What about you?
The text that comes to mind for me is the book of Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 3, and it says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." So it's pretty much saying you cannot continually do the same thing and expect different results. The definition for that is insanity. So if you want to make changes or raw changes in your life, health is a choice. That change must come by you making a concerted effort to say, you know what, I am going to do differently. And we want to help you on that journey. So if you're struggling with any health conditions and you want a place, an outlet where you can get that serenity and get that holistic healing, just contact us. Our website is redriveroutpost.org. And just get in touch with us. We'd love to have you. We'd love to help you on your journey back to health. And we've helped many others, and we'd love to help you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing your journey. These products, the outpost, the things that you're doing, the restaurant, which I could go.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll pray for you, and we need to support them. You send some donations to them to help them with this project.
Yes.
I can't believe our time is up. Thank you so much for being with us. Join us next time, because you know what? It just wouldn't be the same without you.